of being ambassador. And during that period of time, when there was a celebration in Indiana, that's when I was vetted. And
the celebrations were in the United States?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was vetted and I was accorded this enormous task as an ambassador with the Universal Peace Federation, and also in that very context and now I was also inducted into mentorship on civility. So I sat under authorities that I've just mentioned, the president of I Change Nation, Professor
So Dr. Juma, allow me to return you back. So how did you meet with the president so that he gave you the opportunity to travel with him to the United States?
That's a good question. Actually, the president of I Change Nation is also the chancellor of the university that did award me. So
that you were studying in that university?
That university is a university that came and assessed what I had done and decided to award me.
So you were a student there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So by extension now you can realize that whenever you are a student, you love your professor, you love your instructor, you love what he carries. And basically I realized that he's a world changer. And I have been always passionate. What can I contribute to the world?
So is the president of the United States the head of the university you are studying?
Not the president of the United States. I said the president of I Change Nations.
Oh, sorry.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an organization independent from USA.
Yeah.
So he's Professor Rivers, His Royal Highness, we call him, because by extension, when you Google and you just read about him, you discover who exactly he is. He's a great man and an icon of today leaders. Yeah.
So before I interrupted you, you were telling us about the journey you were when you were in the United States. So would you like to continue?
Well, it was a huge honor for me to interact with leaders in the business, leaders in governance, leaders in institution. I learned so much. It was just a high voltage package of training. And my perspective on almost all fronts of life, I had to have a new mindset of thinking. As a spiritual leader also, I began to think, what are we not really doing right? Why do we have such a powerful gospel, powerful principles, timeless principles coming from our spiritual life, yet we do not have a market share? That has been my greatest struggle and a guest to understand. Why don't we have a market share? The people who are called believers do not have a market share. So the guest to really make a contribution from the spiritual angle was the one that landed me into this civility. And I realized that it really resonated very well with my passion.
So Dr. Juma, the I Change president, so you mean that he was your mentor and he's the one who took you to the United States?
Yes, he remains to be my mentor up to today. There's a lot. I may not have the privilege of having, constantly working with him, but he always continues to mentor me. Well, together with Dr. Ruben West, who invited me and has been my host all this long, those are the two people that I can say made me to land in the United States of America.
So what did you go to do to the United States?
As I said earlier, it was a welcome, an invitation for me to be trained, and the training was covering almost all areas: leadership, entrepreneurship, and most above all, civility. Yeah.
And what are the challenges you faced?
Well, while I was going to United States, or
to the United States, and Dr. Juma, so what are the challenges you faced when you went to the United States and what you were going to do there?
Well, I think let me begin at the place of visa, because I think the challenges began there. Yeah. To be invited in the United States of America is as easy as you can imagine. But again, how to be, to land there is another hell, I should say it. Why? The process is rigorous. Sometimes you may feel that this is a discriminating process. The challenges began there. I had already tried to apply a visa for US. Yeah. And so I had somehow been frustrated. There was no psych for me to even go back. But you realize when I received this invitation and the constant communication I had with Dr. Ruben was my host, and the encouragement he gave me towards it, I had to give it another try. So this time, well, God was on my side, let me say so. And then I got the visa. Many people were there frustrated, but I got the visa, and therefore I landed there. Of course, landing there, the first challenge is that entirely the culture in the US is totally different from us here in Africa.
So you already had someone to host you there?
Of course.
Dr. Ruben?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And the culture there is totally different. For those of us who are in Africa, I think we have a communal system of living. Yeah. And basically, the society there in the US, mostly I should say, quite individualistic. And people, when you go in a hotel, like for instance, when you go in a hotel, we go together. Yeah. Here, mostly when I welcome you to the hotel, I will definitely pay. Yeah. For you, right?
For me, yeah.
Yes. But there, you have to do what? Pay for yourself. Now,
I can't pay for you.
Well, it's not that I can't pay for you. Yeah. There are people in their mindset are cultured in such a way that, they are very responsible.
Everyone for himself.
Not really everyone for himself, but there's a culture of responsibility in the sense of when I come in your event, I don't have to burden you. I will take care of myself.
Okay.
You see, yeah. That one is unlike us here. When we have an event, most of the time the host has
cater for yourself.
We are catered for. You get it? Yeah. So that was the first challenge, because I really did not have dollars extra. So it was just the mercy of God through that I had to really adjust, and of course it was a comfortable, exciting experience. So the challenge was that one basically, and the other challenges, I think life is expensive. Moving from one state to another is just a huge expense. So those were some of the challenges I got.
So whatever cut. Continue. So when you do peace and civility, as you said, what are the impacts you make to the society? What are some of the impacts you make to the society?
Huge. In fact, that's why we have been, after looking and assessing and researching about the challenges the African communities face, we had to establish a company by extension called the GPP, which is a consultancy firm to help train the people, because we realize that most of this tension and conflicts that are taking place in our African community, they just are lacking a certain level of capacity. And that level of capacity is summarized as civility. If the African communities would appreciate even their original character of respect, because when you look, yourself and myself, yeah. When you look at our grandparents, there were days when you are born and you meet an elderly person, you may either refer that person as an aunt, as uncle yeah. or dad. Yeah. There was quite a sense of respectability. And for a long period of time, I think the modern life has eroded this kind of respectability. And that's why in iChange Nation is dedicated in restoring the art of honor You get it? So we educated in this particular issue of training, giving capacity, and helping the community to coexist. We are showing them that nobody is a nobody. You get it? Nobody is a nobody. Every one of us has value. And once you begin to look me in that aspect, in those lens of I am valuable, you will definitely respect me even when I differ with you in any given area, whether of faith, whether of perception. That is it.
And how do you deal with when someone rejects you when you're trying to tell them the way forward about peace and civility?
Well, there's nothing wrong with respectively disagreeing. Yeah. I don't have to force him. Like some of our religion are full of imposition. We impose our views to individuals that have already told us they are uncomfortable. Even God himself could not force man born again. To be born. Yeah, you are not forced to be born again. You are given life and death. You have to do what? Choose.
Dr. Juma, what impacts do you make to the society?
As far as civility is concerned?
Yeah, and peace.
Yeah, there are huge impacts that come as far as civility is concerned. Now, civility being a tool that we use to achieve peace, you realize that there is always coexistence of communities. The tension that comes up because of resource competition, because of several political challenges, because of the social inequalities, all these are addressed very effectively through civility, because civility is kind of a fertile ground which gives everybody an opportunity to express his opinion, his suggestion, and therefore every important suggestion is embraced with civility. So development is very easy. Civility is on the ground, whether it is on the national level, whether it's on community level, or even family level. And that's why we are really advocating. Even the UN itself looks at African problems. You can always see every time.
So the UN and Africa are somehow related with whatever you're doing?
Well,
with the peace and civility thing?
Basically, UN values peace. That's why you realize the days when we had problem, Kofi Annan was said.
Okay, there's something I'm not getting. Do you have a branch here in Kenya?
I would not say that we have a branch, but we are building a community of ambassadors of civility. And we have actually gone as far as starting an organization called Civility for Kenya. Okay. And I have my senior from the US. Perhaps one of these fine days he can also be hosted in this forum. Sure. Yeah.
So, and what are the rejections?
Whenever
you try to impact something to the society?
Yeah, basically you realize that I think it is a human tendency. There is a propensity not really to get along with one another. There is a selfishness that seems to be a human problem. And that's why you realize we need the skill of civility to help us appreciate one another. So basically, whenever we come up with civility, there are those people who are opposed. They feel that perhaps they are revolutionizing a nation. And when you have to challenge them and say, hey guys, it's possible for you to sit down with your opponents and then have a civil dialogue. They tend to feel they reject your concept. But the truth here is that civility is a fertile ground.
Okay, Dr. Juma, we take a short break. To my viewers, we take a short break and we'll be right back.
Live in a beach life city, enjoying coastal lifestyle with a cool breeze and ocean tides as you watch the sunset. in Malindi, touching the Kilifi-Watamu bypass, sitting just 100 meters off the white sandy beach in a gated and controlled development next to Malaika Beach Hotel. Finca Properties Limited offers you a 50 by 100 plot for only 1.5 million shillings. Electricity and water is available on site. This property is ideal for residential homes, cottages, holiday homes and hotels. For inquiries, bookings and reservations, SMS the word plot to 40309 or call us on 0721 737 300 or visit our website at www.finca.co.ke. Come to our offices in Kitengela Town, Pena Towers, Suite B6. Title deeds are ready. Finca Properties Limited, prime and affordable.